Ah, Carlos Gracie. Anybody better to start this very first episode of History and Roots? No, man. Nobody's better. Nobody in this magnitude. Nobody can get close to this man over here. The man that's changed the world. At least my world. And I can promise you, the world of many other people all over this planet, man. Yes, Carlos Gracie, man. This guy, this over here, the inventor of Brazilian Jiu-jitsu, man. There's no arguing on that, no argument on that. History speaks for himself, you know, but I'm not here today to talk about the inventor of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, this guy that learned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with Mitsui Maeda when he was a little boy. Then he transformed the Jiu-Jitsu to adapt to his body, to his style. And he creates this culture in our own country. And he built this great legacy that the whole world today enjoys, man. You know, Carlos Gracie invented the three greatest things in the planet. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Gracie diet, and Brazil. Yes, I can prove it to you. He invented Brazil as well. Yes, man, probably Carlos Gracie didn't invent Brazil, but he reinvented Brazil, man. Because I remember when I first came over here, I went through the immigration. You know, even when I began my first year living in the United States, you know, I never hear people correlating the name of Brazil to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You know, never have this correlation. Then today, if we talk about Brazilians, we talk about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, man. We're not talking about volleyball, soccer, politician, and football. It's Brazil, it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, man. You know, that's the biggest thing in the United States, man. We don't play soccer over here. We do a real thing. We play football, man. Football. Even if you use the hand, we don't use the foot, but still football. You know what I mean? We play tough sport over here. That's why the Americans embrace the Jiu-Jitsu, man. It's because it's the art of the love at the same time as the art that's gonna conquer your heart. And that's what happened, man. That's the thing. Or you embrace the Jiu-Jitsu, or you're gonna be crying in your bed. You know, because if you lie to us, or you're gonna keep getting choked out, man. That was the deal. The Brazilians hit the ego of the martial arts all over the world, man. Those guys that did karate for hundreds of years, and the other guys that did Kung Fu for 20 years. If he have to learn, if he have to fight, he have to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If you walk in the octagon with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, you're gonna get choked, man. That was already proved by Gracie Gracie. He was the first one to have any skill of striking. He only knew Jiu-Jitsu, and he put pound for pound, every single guy pound per pound, and he was the lightest one in his category, 170 pounds, and he choked everybody out. You know, and this proved itself how powerful Jiu-Jitsu is. And Horse is a very frail individual, you know. Then Carlos Gracie changed the life of many people, man. You know, Carlos Gracie was this guy that grew up in Belém do Pará, man. He grew up in Belém do Pará. his father, he was a diplomat. You know, his father's Gaston was a diplomat. This guy that speak 8 languages, man. Can you imagine it? Your father speak 8 languages, and one of those languages he speak is two of them was Greek, and the other one doesn't exist anymore. It's Latin. The guy spoke Latin, man. You know, that Carlos Gracie grew up under the umbrella of a very intelligent individual that demands from his son, you know. But Carlos Gracie doesn't want to speak 8 language, man. Carlos Gracie is the man of the people of Belém do Pará. He want to speak Tupi, man. He want to speak the local language over there. You know, it's true that's in the history, in the book that his own daughter described. You know, his relation with the local people was phenomenal in Belém do Pará. Even his being this kid's blonde, blue eyes with freckles, very different than the local people over there, because the majority of the people was the Tupis, the Tupinambás, the Maués. That was all the tribe. You know what is Tupi? Do you know what is Tupi? Man, you don't know what is Tupi? Tupi is the language of the Brazilian people, man. We don't speak Portuguese. Our language is called Tupi-Guarani. That's a language, man, before we be invaded by the Europeans. That was a language, man. That's what's Carlos Gracie in Belém do Pará. He doesn't want to be involved in this world of politics. He was the man of the people. He was the man that absorbing the animals. He is the man that absorbing the human behavior, you know. And when he was a kid, he was the man that if you mess with his mangoes on the street, if you go to Carlos Street in Belém do Pará, you try to grab his mangoes on the trees, man, you got a thing coming for you. Carlos Gracie is going to threaten you with throwing rocks at your head, man. It's true. It's a true story, man. Carlos Gracie, when he was a kid, right on his street, you know, is Belém do Pará is known as the city of the mangoes. You know, is full. Everywhere in Belém do Pará is full of mangoes, and they say Carlos Gracie. This on the books, man. His daughter's book say that anybody that tried to get the mangoes on the Carlos Gracie's street over there where he lives, he would threaten him to tell him. He used to tell him, "Hey, better you go down from this tree, because this tree, those mangoes on those trees over here belong to me. If you're not going down, I'm going to break your head. I'm gonna break your head." That's true. That's Carlos Gracie, man. You know, he was not a joke. He was already controlling the marketing around his house. You know, he's the man. That's true, you know. Carlos used to threaten people that goes to the tree right on his street, you know. But at the same time, he have to go home and be academic as well, be highly educated, because his father Gaston was a diplomat, man. Was a man with class. They say that history say that Gaston, Carlos' father, every day before he goes to work, he used to bring a flower to the bed and give it to his wife. Man, look at this. Look at this. Man, I thought it's not Gaston, it's Alan Gosh, man. Does the same thing. Bring a flower to the wife on bed, man. You know, look at how classy this man is. Now you have to educate Carlos in the same manners. Do you know why? Because Gaston's father was the same thing, man. Was well educated, man. He was a banker. His name is Pedro Gracie, man. He's a banker, well-educated guy. You know, imagine you born under this umbrella of people high educated, and they demand you to be well-educated, but you want to be a fighter. You want to learn how to fight. You wanna learn a different philosophy, man. You wanna learn the philosophy of choking people out, man. Armbar. You wanna learn a different science that they provide to you at this moment, you know. You wanna learn the behavior of other people, how people behave, how people react, how we build courage, how I can educate myself so I build courage, how I can treat myself. That's true. They say Carlos Gracie, he diagnosed himself with ADD before everybody talking about ADD. You know, when he was a boy, he already see that he have this hyperactivity. Then he tried to do exercise without anybody telling him. He already noticed. That's the guy that he self-studied him. You know, it's called a genius, man. It's not for everybody, you know. Then Carlos Gracie at the same time, like I said, his grandfather, Pedro Gracie, was a banker, man. You know, that he educated Gastão the same way, you know, to be this cosmopolitan individual that speak many languages and learning economy and language and how the world work. But Carlos Gracie doesn't want to do that, man. Carlos Gracie want to be this rascal kid on the street and learning people behavior. And Pedro Gracie, man, that's true story. Pedro Gracie, he was a buddies with Barão de Mauá, man. Let me tell you, dude, this guy was in deep trouble, man, because his whole family, you know, begins with his grandpa, Pedro Gracie, man. This guy was a buddy with Barão de Mauá, man. Hey, let me give you feedback a little bit with Barão de Mauá. Barão was a name given by Dom Pedro II, is a noble name to identify him as a noble as well. Barão de Mauá, man, if we have 5 Barão de Mauá in Brazil, I'm telling you, give you the idea. If we have 5 Barão de Mauá in Brazil, Brazil today would be a superpower, man. Barão de Mauá was the first guy that resuscitated the Brazilian bank. When Dom Pedro II, the king, left Brazil, when he left Brazil, he cleaned the whole bank. He cleaned the whole bank. He still, even the Indians underwear before he leaves. He cleaned the whole bank. Poof! Leaves to Portugal, man. And Barão de Mauá, man, reopened the Brazilian bank. That is there till today, man. You know, you speak to somebody from the Gracie family, they don't even know who Barão de Mauá is. Promise you. You know, not everybody, but most of them. And Barão de Mauá was this guy, man, created the first bank. And Barão de Mauá doesn't stop over there. Barão de Mauá was the guy that brought the light to Brazil, to Rio de Janeiro. But it was the guy that built the first railroad in Brazil, man. He globalized Brazil, man, through the railroads and train tracks, and he puts the Brazil on tracks, man. That's what's Barão de Mauá. That's Pedro Gracie's bodies, man. And another thing, Barão de Mauá did not only do that. He bring the light to Brazil. How he bring the light? He bring the gas, and through using gas, he illuminates Brazil. He used the lights, the light, because back in the day in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, if you know the Baía de Guanabara, right, in Rio de Janeiro today is completely destroyed. In the Baía de Guanabara, man, thousands and thousands of whales used to go to the Baía de Guanabara to procreate. But you know what used to happen to them? The Portuguese used to go there and kill them. Kill it. For what? For what? To have lights, man, to take the oil to have those dark lights, those disgusting lights made by the life of the sacrifice of the animal that, man, doesn't harm you in anything. And we used to kill all of them. And it's true, this is true story, man. Back in the Baía de Guanabara, used to be what's the whales used to procreate over there. Today, Man, I tell you, it's not even bacteria survive over there, you know? And they used to kill the whales to extract the oil to have lights in Rio de Janeiro. And Barão de Mauá finished with this, man. You know, he enlightened Brazil. That's Carlos Gracie growing up under. Growing up under under a huge influence of not just intellectual, but the influence of, hey, you have to do something more than wandering around over here and being this rascal kid. But Carlos Gracie, man, he was already thinking, man, how am I gonna change the world? I came here for something important. No, this kid born in Belém do Pará. Belém do Pará, man, was far away from the capital of Brazil, you know. The main capital was in Rio de Janeiro, you know, and Belém do Pará was not even the main roller players states in the country yet, because they were so far away from the capital. Not many people even vote. People didn't vote over there, you know. And at the same time, man, at the same time, in this era, previously in Belém do Pará, about 6 decades before, we have this revolution that we call today the cabanagem, but the real name of the revolution that almost broke Brazil apart come from Belém do Pará, where is Master come from? You know, Master Carlos come from this movement we call the cabanagem, but the real name was the patriots. Was the peasants and the part of the aristocracy of Brazil that was tired of being pushed around, and the poverty in Belém do Pará beginning to increase in the highest level, you know. Then this group of cabanagem decided to get over with this and said, we done, we're gonna bring this movement. Yeah, that's true. We're gonna do a movement that we're gonna shake the whole Brazil so they never insult us again. You know, then that's what Carlos Gracie comes from, man. In this cosmopolitan place. He come from this Mesopotamia of information. You know, that was a place that at the same time was so rich of information, but at the same time it was so isolated from the main players, states, main role players, states in the country. But man, the next time we're gonna be talking over here, that's what happened to Carlos Gracie after he meets Mitsui Maeda, man. Do you know who's Mitsui Maeda? Do you know him? You don't know? Man, if you do jiu-jitsu, you don't know Mitsui Maeda, man. Get your gi, tie your belt, and use your seat belt if you're driving. Don't look to the screen and just listen, because I will share you that story. And you don't have to be looking to the screen. You know, you don't have to be looking to this beauty on the screen, but you have to listen. Do you know why? It's just for the simple reason, man. You know, I want to fulfill you with knowledge. I wanna give information to your ignorance about Brazilians, man, so you be more well educated, like many others. You know, if you want more information, let me know. You can talk to me, man. This guy here, this guy is this oasis of knowledge, is this fossil of history, man, and simplicity, like you've seen it. Guys, maybe we're gonna do a second episode on Carlos Gracie, because one episode will not be enough. Man, now we stop over here, you telling me 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Man, I want to talk about Carlos Gracie. I go hours, man, because I'm not reading a little book, man. I'm reading an encyclopedia, man. of the man that's changed my world, and I can promise you, your world too. Instead, if you don't train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you don't have to like Brazilians, but you have to love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I don't care about Brazilians, I care about Jiu-Jitsu. Dale Turn once said, the arrow of the past is the wisdom of the future.